Good morning and welcome to the Dawn Patrol. Merry Christmas. My name is Ned Tarmey. I'm the host for today's show. Next is my nephew Jeff Tarmey and Bob Hoey. So I'm going to catch up with some things about the city with Bob. What's going on in the city, Bob?
Well, to me, the city council and the mayor, Danny Rourke there, I think they've been doing a great job, especially when it comes to homelessness. We're probably the only area, to me, that's basically out there trying to force help on the people that are out there, especially since it's been so cold. They've been ripping apart some really ugly areas across Dunkin' Donuts at Dutton Street.
Yeah.
That area there is where they focused in the past week. Really poor conditions, and nobody should live in those type of conditions. And it's a tough issue. You know, I think the person that led the way is Eric Gitcher, your pal, and my pal. He's just someone that's working really hard as a city council, and the mayor's been a person that I think all he's been saying for the past couple of years is we're trying to help them, and they don't want help. And the majority don't, but I've seen people taking the help recently, and that's a key. You can't be sleeping out in this type of weather.
This kind of weather, 20 degrees.
No, and you can't be around 3 tons of trash. You just can't live next to trash. You can't, because if you are, you're going to have rats and mice all around you.
What Dunkin' Donuts you talking about?
Right down there on Dutton Street, Dutton and Fletcher.
Okay.
Across from the old Furies.
Oh, yeah.
That area right there. I guarantee you the bill, we haven't seen the bill of the cleanup, but I've been in construction for 30 years, you know, almost 40 years, but as a roofer, and I'm telling you, that bill has to be somewhere around $100,000 or better, just for the dumpsters and the help and the police and all the help that's...
Is there any state money they're getting or anything?
I don't know, but we're showing the state right now. As far as I'm concerned, Ned, you asked me how Lowell's doing. Under this, you know, there's a few city councilors that got to go, obviously. I mean, there's 11 of them now, not 9. But we always had 1 or 2 on the city council that shouldn't get elected, but how they do, I don't know. I never could figure that out, but we need people to come out and run. You can't just do it with 2 or 3 people, 4 people that are doing the main job, and the rest of them are just following the Pied Piper, I'd like to call it. You know,
The mayor directs them anyway. I talked to the mayor.
I'm not calling the mayor no Pied Piper.
I know.
He's a worker.
I talked to him the other day. He's happy with the job, loves the job.
Where I love him the most is definitely, there's no doubt about it, it's what he's done for the schools. Oh, yeah, he's been incredible for the schools. So I'm just, what's the word for me this year? Well,
ecstatic.
You know what my wife went through too. You know,
Yeah.
we had the prayers that people send you. It's, I never felt so. How can I say this?
Blessed.
Blessed. That's a good word. Blessed. It took me 70 years to feel like I'm blessed. I never felt like I was blessed. Looking back on my life, I never felt like I was blessed. Not one time. I do right now. But I'm 70. You know what I mean, Jeff?
Oh, good. Well, good for you. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about your wife, so.
No, my wife had some cancer for the second time, and it scares you, you know?
Sure it
it's
does.
Just, but the Brigham Women's Hospital, Dana-Farber, we live so close. We're so lucky to have those type
Very
of people. But you know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
Very lucky. Yeah, no, I had my own battle of cancer, so I still worry about it every day. So, but good luck to her. You know, prayers to the family, and yeah, it's a scary thing to have to go through it for everybody, the family, and the person going through it. So, yeah. So, but back to the homelessness, real quickly. What has been the first step? I know you're cleaning it up, but what is the first offer for them? I mean, is there housing? Not necessarily homes, but is there a place to house them, or what's been the first step, getting them out of the cold?
Well, this is where the issue gets really tough. Do we have enough housing for the whole world? No, we're down housing, no doubt about it. It's probably the biggest issue across the country. I know it is in Massachusetts. Just affordable rent alone. everything's going over 2,000 in Lowell. You know, anything decent where you don't have
Right.
rats and mice and cockroaches, you're going to be paying over $2,000,
Right.
easy. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably one of the biggest issues. You know, but what they're doing, what I've seen the city do, and I've only witnessed it a couple of times in the past few weeks, is they get in the person's face and say, come on, get on the bus, get in the car, whatever vehicle they got. We're going to bring you here. You're going to get a warm bed. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. And the small numbers, let's say, and I'm just giving you approximate numbers. Let's say you have 80 of them out there. You probably take 4 will take the help. That's
Only
the
4?
tough thing. Only 4.
Yeah.
But
That's
they're
mental
incredible.
illness, a lot of them too.
No,
Yeah.
well, don't forget too, the groups, it's, you know, I like to look at demographics, right?
Yep.
Even on homelessness, you have, in my opinion, the majority of the ones that live around all that major trash, that's dead up drug problems.
Yep.
Big time.
Right.
But then if you go in other areas, you'll see they keep it a little bit more tidier, let's say, right? And then you got a group out there on the riverway that most of them are, I'm sorry to say it, but they're level 3 sex offenders. They got nowhere to live. They live under our bridges. They live in our bushes. I've been following this stuff for years myself, just walking through and videotaping and talking, and I talk to them, and if they're cooking, I stop and talk to them. But you can't videotape them.
Yeah.
I always look at the ones that are divorced. There's a group out there, divorced men, that had nowhere to go.
That's the reason why you should run for city council.
I did 3 times, and 3 times you're out.
Yeah.
I know why. I drug test everybody from sheriffs down to the teachers, everybody.
You
would
say
get
3
drug
times
tested.
and you're out, but if you wait a couple of
No,
terms,
no,
you
no.
can go
I'm
back.
telling you, I'm very seriously thinking about running for the school committee, no doubt about it, but I'll wait till after January 1st.
This school committee or the Voc School?
Oh, no. Lowell School Committee. I paid my dues for what I did wrong. I said a
Yeah.
bad word, you know. We all say bad words.
Hey.
But you know something? No, let me just finish since you said that. I seen the girl, McFadden. Danielle McFadden just entered the race not too long ago. And I said, whoa, because I knew one time, I thought you and I, Ned, we were talking about who could be a state rep, and Rodney, and back then we were saying Corey Robinson. You remember the names we used
Yeah.
to say to each other?
So
I
she's
thought
running
she
for
was
school
going to run.
committee?
I thought she was going to run for state rep. She's running for school committee, which to me is,
She's got
there's
young
another
kids.
thing that's made me feel blessed. Oh, just to get her out there, the name recognition. The woman has a ton of follow. I bet, and I don't even know this. I'm telling you how I just feel the city. Guarantee you she'll have the most money to
yeah,
run,
she's
and money
Chamber
don't
of
win a
Commerce,
school
right?
seat anyways. What's that?
She's in the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah.
We went
she's-
to her, she was honored by the Salvation Army
Yeah.
this year, last year.
I just like the name alone. I'm telling you, McFadden.
Yeah.
I could see Hoey next to that name. So citywide, she's running, and that really impressed me. You know, I said.
We do need people citywide.
Citywide, yeah, I like that. And I
What are you
haven't-
gonna run,
Hey,
citywide?
yeah, that's what I would run. If I run, and I'll tell you after January 1st, it'll be citywide.
already made
I
up
could
your
never
mind.
run in my district, that's Belvedere. I've called that the swamp. I couldn't trust that. I know I have a lot of support in Belvedere because I know they know there's nobody like me when it comes to teachers. And I could sit here and talk for 2 hours, Jeff. So, Jeff, kick me, elbow me.
No, hey, listen,
You got something to say, buddy?
How many kids in the school system now? What are we looking at in
About
Lowell?
15,000.
15,000?
We
What's
grew-
the average classroom size? Do we have any idea, or
Not right, I've been gone a long time, but I'd say
20.
close to the upper 20s.
up to the 20s?
Yeah, upper 20s.
Is there a school teacher shortage, or are they doing well there?
That would be another, I think there's a shortage of teachers everywhere, but no, Lowell seems to pay pretty well now because,
Lowell pays a premium,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
because of me, yeah.
$10,000 difference between a transfer teacher.
No, that's great. No,
Yeah.
that's great.
They should pay them.
The proudest thing that I ever did in my 7 years that I spent on the Lowell School Committee was no contract would ever sit in front of me about a teacher. They were underpaid. And I'm going back to 1995. All I preached was they were underpaid. Did the taxpayers make me pay for saying that? I won 4 times. That's all I had to say.
If you work at it, Bob.
No, listen, Ned, paraprofessional, you've seen the strike, you two guys,
Yeah.
I love when I have you two together. Jeff, by the way, I have an uncle, Bill Hoey, that drove me crazy, and I feel bad that Ned's your uncle. I know that couldn't have been easy. That couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, well, who the hell knew he was going to live to 86 years either, so now it's a struggle.
But there was another gentleman, right, his name was Bill Topia. I sat on a school committee with him, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
And that's all he would preach to me. Bob, and he'd always buy my food no matter where we went, right?
Yeah.
Bob, we can't let the schools go down. If they go down, your city goes down. That's why I like Danny Rourke so much, because he's done so much for the schools. Because most mayors, to me, fail when it comes to the schools.
Yeah.
That's our issue.
What's the biggest issue in the schools right now? I know, is truancy a problem? I mean, is
Poor grades.
What's that?
Poor grades.
Poor grades, yeah.
I would say that. I would leave that one, poor grades, as number one, because to me, it's all about reading levels.
And they hide it. They hide the poor grades.
I know.
It's not going to be hidden this year. Nothing's hidden
I
this
know, I
year.
just saw something in the news this week, how true it is, but there was a gal that graduated in Worcester, I guess it was, and as not valedictorian, but high honors, whatever. And turned out she was illiterate, couldn't read or write.
Yeah,
And
that
it was on the
happens.
news the other day, and I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but no, the schools are tough, and the teachers have it tough, certainly.
Well, the number one issue is definitely low grades, and the reason being is, to me, when they get to the third grade, imagine, most families that are together, they're not divorced, there's no drugs, there's no problems, most of those children can read at 1 year old.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sorry, first grade,
Yeah.
right? They can read. But in Lowell, a lot of them can't read even at the third grade level. When they
Sure.
get to the third grade, we
should
send
be
them to the
reading by
fourth.
then.
We send them, that was me. You sent me to the fourth, I couldn't read, so I used to take the ruler all the time.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to stand up and read in front of girls. And you're embarrassed. It's a tough thing when you can't read. It's, to me, the number one issue in our schools. Because it causes discipline problems, which is tied for poor grades.
Right.
That's the parents not reading to the kids when they're babies,
Yeah,
and then
there's
having
no-
them sound out the words.
Right. There's no denying our grades are poor. John's right. I can't fight back on that. But the problem of discipline is number two.
Yeah.
How we control that. And that's why I think, even if I lost, entering the race, and I don't care about losing, I won it 4 times that seat, I would be able to have a bully pulpit like I have right here. I come here twice a week so I can have my voice heard.
Do the teachers have Liam's support?
Who?
The teachers have Liam Skinner's support.
What I feel, and I think I know the best teachers, I really do feel like I know the best, I don't know why, but they all tell me, the ones that are still working, they say the word to me, this is what I get out of them, he allows me to do my job. When I hear that, right, it just sends chills down me, but what do you mean by that? He just allows us, and I'm talking the leaders, like say the department heads at the high school, or a principal, or a vice principal, those type of people, they all say he allows us to do our job. I kind of like that.
I had a cousin who was a teacher. She's retired now. And she told me, when she went to the 4th grade, what grade it was, she was going to teach them the math, the addition and subtraction, which is no longer a course at the school anymore. She said, I'm not supposed to do it, but they're going to learn how to do it. And they did. And plus what else she had to do. But I don't know. See, what happened was these so-called elites got a hold of the school department. And yourself, they changed things around. We've got 2 at-large city school committee people that have been reelected how many years? 30 years?
Yeah, that's why you got to wait. You'll see. There'll be, just by Danielle entering the race makes the schools
I
great.
know she's got young kids.
Yep, she does, I believe 3. But I want to bounce back to Jeff for a minute. Yesterday's show, John's show, to me was one of the better shows that I've seen in a long time. It was a lot of, there was a priest on it, I believe his name is Father
Bill
Acevedo.
Esvito.
Acevedo, yeah.
Pastor at St. Patrick's.
St. Patrick's. To me, it was a great show because, when you live in a city like Lowell and your church is Sacred Heart your whole life and then it closes to become condos, it can make you fall away from following your religion, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then St. Peter's closed before Sacred Heart. I mean, and religion to me has really been hurt by a lot of reasons.
Yep. No,
But-
I agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm a Catholic boy, and it's and no matter how strong my faith is, just having faith and just gives you morals I think I think it's very important. I think that's one of the big issues in this country, and we're moving away from faith and I'm not going to pound my fist about religion, but it's important. It gives you morals. It gives you a compass. It gives you community. To go into church on a Sunday, to say hello to the people that in your neighborhood that you don't typically see during the week. Maybe get dressed up once a week, with your family, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, the churches are empty, and it's very sad, very sad in my eyes.
Doesn't St. Patrick's have 4 different languages, 4 different language masses?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched the show yesterday. I know that
Vietnamese
English, Spanish, Vietnamese,
and Gaelic.
and they can probably deal with the Brazilian and Portuguese people too,
the
because of the
Brazilians
language,
out it
yeah.
out. Out of South
No, they
Lowell.
do Spanish, Vietnamese, Cambodian, and Gaelic, like I said.
Yeah,
Gaelic's like once a year.
Yeah, they do it the St. Patrick's week.
And tonight at 10,
In English.
tonight at 10:30, this is what I got off John's show yesterday. At 10:30, he's going to have confession for an hour, from 10:30 to 11:30, so there might be a line there.
They're getting away from the 10 o'clock instead of midnight mass.
No, he's going to have midnight mass. From 10:30 to 11:30, there's going to be confession.
I might need a little more time. I need more than that.
Yeah, I was just going to say
The two
that.
guys aren't getting in line, huh?
And then at 11:30, they have a choir.
Yeah, they do a concert, yeah.
Right, and then they're going to have a midnight mass, which is pretty cool. So I think I'm going to head down there tonight. I won't get there at probably 10:30. I think I can get there at 11 though. So maybe I'll squeeze in the confession there, Jeff. I think we all need to confess our sins.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, how's your wife doing? She's doing okay?
Unbelievable. That's all I can say right now. My wife's a worker, the hardest worker in my family, without a doubt.
Jeff went through cancer and COVID.
We had cancer and COVID on a ventilator the same year, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was actually 3-year anniversary yesterday that I woke up and came home from in a coma with the COVID. So, yeah. So it's good to be here. Good to
Jeff,
be here.
Are you a pilot? Was that what I remember
Yeah,
about?
I am. Yeah, I was. For me, I always dreamt of being a pilot. 1977, and this is actually as he's sitting next to me. But in 1977, I was in the 8th grade. I was 14. I was born in 1964, so I was 13 years old. And we were. My dad was born and raised in Lowell. My mother Drake, but we ended up in Pelham, and when we were there standing in the yard with the realtors, it was one June day, there were planes flying over the house, gliders. I don't even know if anybody knows what those are, but they get towed up by airplanes and then they're free to fly around. Well, I was pretty intrigued, so as soon as we moved into the house, I got on my bike, and this is long before you could, Google something and find out where something is. I just kind of followed my nose, got on my bike, and I ended up in Salem and found this little airport. And I walked right in. I'm 13 years old. I asked them if they were hiring. And so they let me wash airplanes and mow grass and whatever. And I wanted to learn how to fly. And actually, Ned, for my 8th grade graduation, gave me my first $200 to start to fly. That was the best gift I ever got. So, yeah, so I've been flying since 1977, 78. Never really did it professionally, but I still fly a couple of hours a week now. So, yeah, and I own a small airplane, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
But a host for yesterday's show, Cliff Krieger, he was in the war, Vietnam. He was a pilot,
Yeah.
jet pilot, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't explain just the joy I get from it. Kept me out of a lot of trouble when I was a kid. Tell you the truth.
I
Two
did a lot of-
volunteers on Saturdays in the summertime, and they bring people up from the gliders. Where is that in, where do you go?
I belong to a club in Franconia, up in
Franconia,
Franconia, New
yeah.
Hampshire. So, But yeah, super fun, super fun. Yeah. How about you? What do you do for fun?
Right now, I just spend my time, most of my time
Working
with
politics.
my grandchildren, and spend a couple of days a week in this place doing a show with John. And
Yep.
I enjoy doing this because it's part of being in the city too. I'm connected to the both. You know, I like to go out and do videos and work for certain candidates. But like recently, Karen Casella, she won the Registry of Deeds race. I went out to help her, and Eric Gitcher, and years ago it was Rita Mercier or whoever. Eddie Alasha, I
Yeah.
used to help him with my
Yeah, he
uncle.
was a good guy. Was a good guy, yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy worrying about my city.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Because when you live here and you hear people trash it all the time, we have some issues, there's no doubt about it, but we're very lucky in some areas too. And that's why I go back to the schools all the time. We are lucky that we don't have people.
So we've been out in Manchester a lot lately. And I tell
Yeah.
you, they did a hell of a job down there, theater district and the restaurants.
Well, I hate to say this about Manchester, and I don't go there that much. They have their major issues.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they all
Yeah,
do. No,
they all
every city does. And
Yeah.
I still go down to Tufts, Boston, a couple of times a month for treatment, and go down there with my dad as well. And so we end up near Massancast quite often, and that's quite a scene.
that's-
And I sent them all below.
not for the faint-hearted, but no, the homelessness. Yeah, I mean, not to skip right back to the homelessness, but
That's
the
okay.
homelessness is a big problem. You come off the Lowell connector here, and and pretty quickly you find the tents and the homeless and the drugs. And I like to go to Elliot's Hot Dogs, and it's pretty sad to drive through that neighborhood sometimes. But I think it could be cleaned up. I really do. I really do believe that homelessness can be fixed. And it starts with the drug trade. We gotta really do something about the drug trafficking.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I can say this, and it's only been not more than a month since the ordinance come out that Eric Gitcher had that he doesn't want any tents 1,000 feet near a school. We have 28 schools.
Yeah.
And the way this South Common was, right behind us, Jeff, there's a school.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Well, the South Common is right now looking really good if you haven't seen it in the
Right.
past month.
We looked at it the other day.
Yeah, there's still
Maybe that was too long.
some small stuff, near the church. Elliott Church is about all you'll see there.
They're retiring. How do people do the food there?
I don't know
I read
what's
that.
going on. You heard a fence was going up around it. That's all I heard.
I guess it's
And that's just
closing.
rumor.
But then the schools, then jump into the schools. I really, this is controversial, but I really think electronics, all the electronic devices in school have really, in the ease of finding information for kids, and sometimes too much information. But I think it hurts in the growth of the brain and in the reading, because when we were kids, not long ago, we would have to go to a library, and we'd have to get an encyclopedia. And even if you were looking up rockets in a encyclopedia, you started flipping through the pages, and then, you'd see a picture or another topic that might be interesting. You'd stop and read about rice paddies or anything else. So our brain was constantly learning. And today, kids have access to just quick information. You want to, rockets, they Google it, boom, and they just read about rockets, but they don't build their mind up with other maybe important information. And I just think, and then reading at home, I just,
He reads a lot.
Well, when you can't read, normally, and I can only speak for myself, you won't learn how to read until you're nearly out of high school.
Yep.
You'll have to fake your way through.
Yeah.
And back in them days, it was easy. You just took a hit on the hand. It wasn't that bad. The back of the hand hurt. I didn't
Yeah.
like the back
Yeah.
with a
They,
point that
they
hurt.
give you the side with the metal.
But right now, if you look at technology, and I'm terrible with it, but I see this IA stuff coming already, and I've seen things that they can help kids that have dyslexia. That's what I think I had. I don't know, but a lot of children have that. Not a lot. I think it's under 10% of the children have dyslexia. And IA already can fit. They have some equipment that can help those people really turn around quick, and it's $1,000 more though, per student. So if we're spending 18,000, it's gonna go up to 19,000. But the biggest issue to me, and again, if once I seen something like that, I said, well, there's some hope. That's all I want is hope, and I think as a school committee, no doubt you should be able to get enough people to say, listen, we're all done putting them on a conveyor belt. If they can't read at the third grade level, keep them back, put a special person, tutors, want to fall into something great. Do you ever see someone that has 32 to 40 years of teaching? And we know most teachers are awesome. We got a group that need fixing or need help, small group compared to,
We got some texts here, Bobby. So
Yeah.
every day is the same thing. The homeless problem will not go away. A guest on your show yesterday said, when he was in his warm car, he saw a freezing man. He felt bad, gave him change, not dollars, change. So he didn't help the problem. Well, Jay, you can head over to the Lord Overpass today with $100 bills and help those guys out. When you give money to people who are standing, my personal opinion, when you give people money who are standing on the side of the road, it makes you feel better. It does nothing for them. They're going to go spend it on whatever troubles they have in their life. Second text. Unfortunately, the church did it to themselves.
They'll never.
They'll never shake the scandal. And another text. Unless the people want the help, it won't go away. As far as the tents go, they move to a different area of the city. That's from Jay. And last one, special thanks to Ned for getting up early this morning. And don't forget, Jeff drove him down here. And Merry Christmas. Thank you. Back to you guys.
I don't mind staying on the homeless issue, but we hit that almost daily. And I think it's one of the top issues. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Bobby, backing up about the
Yeah.
educational thing, that new tool that you said
Yeah.
that they can help. Is it autistic? What kids are we going to help?
No, this is IA for dyslexia. If you
Okay,
look,
so for dyslexia, it's going to cost an extra $1,000. It's like saying, well, you know what? It's going to cost more money to put seats in that airplane. Why can't we just have the people stand? So it's a necessary thing. The local government's got to wake up to it. I think Liam Skinner's a bright bulb, and we'll certainly drag that into the system and make it work. If it's going to help one of our kiddos or going to help 100 of our kiddos, it's got to happen. And
And if you get
No doubt
kids
about it.
young, if you teach them, if you're building a school system and kids are graduating and they can't read or write and just have a very low education level when they graduate, then that creates another problem for a city like Lowell, because then those are potentially our future homeless people because they're not employable. Their skill level is very low, so they're the people that need the assistance, the housing, and things like that. Because I really believe that we're the last generation of people that can skate through our school system. We were the generation that had, when we graduated, we were 18 years old. We may not have been going to be doctors and lawyers, but we had the Wangs, we had the Digitals. We had the Raytheons, where we go in as 18 years old, get an entry-level job, get benefits, and and then be okay in life. That's how I started. I started at Digital, and today the kids don't have that. Though there's no more Wangs and GEs and Digitals for those those kids that just skated by to have a viable job with benefits that they are able to get. So I think we were the last generation of kids that were going to be able to do that. So you got to be educated in order to survive. In the future to come. So
You've got to support them too. Tell a story about what your daughter's taxes are now in her school district this year.
Oh, we could talk about taxes all day long, man, but I
Well,
mean,
just to that, though,
no,
just to that.
I mean that's another issue. But I'm not smart enough to understand the tax system, But
but
neither is the local government. The local
Yeah.
government.
I'd like to just stay on what we were talking about, Jeff, and it's the children again. I'm living with an 8-year-old that's in the 3rd grade, and I
Sure.
pay attention to a lot about her schooling, and I see her classroom, and I've volunteered to go and trip with it already, and I hope to see him again. But I just see she can read at a 5th grade level.
Okay.
She's very lucky. And then in the classroom, like I said, there's so many that are having a problem with the reading that they disrupt the class. That's what I did.
Yeah.
If you can't read and everybody's reading, you're going to do something else.
Yeah.
It's a big part of discipline. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's still to this day. And I used to get mad at it, saying, why can't I? I remember saying it. I can't read. I can't remember everything I'm reading. I can't retain it. That was the big thing. I had to read it over and over and over just to get it on, to pass a test, to even come close. And then all of a sudden I became to get into the prison, I got 100 on the test. You should see the test. The test is unbelievable. You wouldn't even believe the questions.
Well, I also believe that if you're passionate about something, you're going to, because I probably had a little ADHD myself or a little learning disability, but the one thing I knew, I may have closed my eyes in algebra, but when it came to getting my driver's license at 16 years old, I aced that test, and then when I went through the pilot stuff, I started to ace those tests. So for me, I had to be stimulated by something I cared about. I snoozed with with the things that I didn't care about. But you were talking about your granddaughter, which is great. I'll tell you again, I probably sound like a dinosaur, but my children would be 40 and 37, and I never allowed a video game in the house. My kids have never played a video game, and now I have an 18 and a 9-year-old granddaughters, and they've never played a video game either. And then there's a steadfast rule in our house. Certainly the 9-year-old doesn't have an iPhone. The 18-year-old does, but all electronics are plugged in downstairs at 7 o'clock at night. No one takes them to their bedroom. So, and that's homework time and whatever else they need. So that's how we deal with it in our home, and I think it's really helped. And I'm happy to say that my 18-year-old is getting ready to embark on medical school, and my 9-year-old can read. These are my grandchildren. My 9-year-old granddaughter, she can probably read at about the 6th grade level right now, 7th grade level. So, not bragging. I'm just saying, that's something that's been helpful in our home, where we just limit the use of these electronics, and we actually have them reading books and going into libraries and taking books out, and we make sure they get most of their education from a book, and then attendance in school. We make sure they make it to school every single day, because I think that's a parent's responsibility, and that's what I do. Not bragging, but that's what I do. That's what we do as a family, and I think it's helpful. So
I was lucky
Hey, I
enough.
just want to bring this up for just a second, okay?
Yep.
Tommy Bomil. Tommy
Okay,
Bomil's not
Thomas.
here today because he's ringing the bell.
he's what?
Ringing a bell.
He's ringing the Salvation Army bell.
Yeah.
And if you want to go over and see Tommy Bomil, go out Bridge Street to
Moses.
I think it's the Sunrise Plaza.
Yep.
The Moses on the Market Basket on Bridge Street over in Centerville. Go over and
$100 bill
Jim,
in.
take your $100 bill that you're going to give away to all the people standing at the lights at the Lord Overpass today, and go over and put it in Tom Bomil's bucket. And believe me, you get a lot better use out of that $100 bill if you put it in Tommy Bomil's
Who
bucket.
became the town manager and make a day of appointment,
So-
but yet,
Head over to the Market Basket on Bridge Street today and make Tom Bomil smile.
$100 bills.
Yep,
Yeah.
that'd be good. Thank you.
don't want to hear any jingle and a change.
Jeff, when you were just talking about all your grandchildren, I said to myself, right off the bat, what I did right in my life was marry the right person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt. I married someone that was just shy, just like a semester shy of being a civil engineer, but she got turned on so much to repairing computers for IBM, she
Yeah.
went there, and that's where she worked.
No, good for her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my first granddaughter became a civil engineer, works for the DOT, got a great job.
Nice.
And My grandson is like me. He's going to have to work hard. He's going to have to either be a roofer, a prison guard, a bartender,
Yeah.
or Uber, okay? But it's just what you do with your own life. I know my main thing was I was hanging around with the wrong people from the age of about 10 to 14 or 15. We had gangs in
Yeah.
Lowell at that
Sure,
time, too.
sure.
And my grandmother got a hold of me. That's who I lived with, and she just kept staying on top of me with discipline. I think it was, Ned, what'd you call those brooms? Corn brooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got hit with one of those a couple of times, when I wouldn't get dressed for church. She'd be underneath the bed with the broom trying to get me out of there to go to church. Drag me up to the Sacred Heart where
By the year.
yeah, they're speaking Latin. I don't even know what they're talking about. I'd rather be sleeping, I'm saying to myself. But she made me go, made me make my first communion, made me make my confirmation, and just told me you have to hang around with better people.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
what I did.
Yeah.
I hung around with some great friends. I still have them today. And
Yeah,
good things,
well, that's what they say. You
great
wanna-
things have happened
Yeah,
to me.
well, that's what they say, if you're gonna judge a person's character, judge it by the people they hang out with, right? So,
2 more text messages here. The trade schools are a great thing. There should be another in the area. There should be another in the area.
I
And
agree.
then-
I couldn't agree more. I think
That's Cliff.
Then Jim goes on to say, laugh out loud, I might have some change. Just a second now. You're the one who just complained about Father Bill only having change in his car. So get that $100 bill up there, Jimbo, and give it to Tommy Bomil, please. Thank you.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more with the trade schools. I mean,
I agree too.
I mean, that's another thing. I'm not entirely sure why young men these days don't want to get their hands dirty. I mean, everybody thinks they're going to be the next, that they're going to be writing, video games or whatever. I don't know, but I'll tell you. I mean, I just recently had the HVAC guy at my house. He spent an hour, worked on 2 things with very few parts, and I wrote him a check for $850-$60. So. That's a nice hourly wage in my eyes, so.
Yeah, the
But-
trades are doing real well. We do a real good job on the trades that we have. There's no doubt we need another trade school.
Yeah,
But there's been a war in that department when you look at education. People, back when I went to trade school for 1 year, I went to 12 different public schools.
wow,
Because of divorce, bounced around to 12 different schools. I lived in every part of the city.
yeah,
And to me, like divorce, we don't talk about that enough. You know how many students in the city of Lowell in
Sure.
our school system don't
So
have
many
a...
single parents, that's part of the problem with the kids.
It's hard
too.
work. When single parents are doing it too, I don't know how they do it, but
But
they're
they put
doing
the
it.
kids on the bus and they figure, my job's done. I'm going back to bed. Go past the city, see them getting the bus stops and has to honk to wake them up. That aggravates me more than anything,
You know, I look at you after Jeff was talking about how you gave him $200 to get his pilot's license or whatever. Uncles, aunts, they're very important too to children. I was a lucky dude. I really was. Godparents. Franco Patel is Stone's right over here in the South Common.
Yeah.
People say to me, why, you don't live near the South Common. Why do you worry about it so much? Well, listen, I live in the city.
Yep.
And I live real close to, I always lived on Lawrence Street, okay? We called it the Flats, but I like to call it Back Central, part of
Back
Back
Central.
Central, and the Portuguese people are incredible people. I grew up with them. The only thing I didn't like as a kid that they'd use the basketball was a soccer ball. That was it. That was my only beef.
We didn't understand soccer in them days.
Yeah, they've been struggling in this area. And their children can't use the South Common pool. When I talk about, you know the city better than anybody, Ned, the Back Central District's not huge, has a lot of people living in it. Someone the other day says, yeah, when they don't vote, that's why they're not heard. Well, that's changing.
I saw that.
what's the
thing.
problem up there? I guess I'm not
Well,
following.
you get,
Just a comment from the audience. Home run, John. I doubt that Jay guy is going to give up a bean. And everybody, if you're out in the car today, just take a ride up Bridge Street. Hop out of the car. Tell Tommy Bomil he's a great guy, and stick some money in his bin. That'd be nice to do.
Is he
Thank you.
challenged by his brother today, or is it just him? Usually him and his brother have a challenge,
It could be, but he'll send pictures on Facebook.
because his brother Bill, who worked, was my office manager, They used to have a contest every year.
Tommy told me, sent me a text this morning. We're not on a Drake it this morning, so I sent a text to Gary Muse, so they'll fix it.
You know, what we loved the most about your uncle there, Jeff, was when we had him on a weekly basis, it's things that irk Ned, you know? He'd come in and have a list of stuff. I missed that so much, but,
I may put it together for next week, because I'll have my list next week. We
right.
are on next Tuesday, right?
Yes, we are.
But again,
Last show of the year.
talking about this district in the South Common like we were, and like I say, I bounce off subject, so jump in anytime you want, because I could talk about flying planes all day long myself. There's
Well,
things I wanted
I've been
to
asking
say.
about, why
City-
won't Jeff run this time?
I'm going to say this to you, Ned. Recently happened to me, you're going to love this. I was walking in City Hall to pay my water bill, and I didn't pay it for whatever it is, every quarter that we
Yeah.
get a bill. So I had to pay $560.45. Well, yeah, because I let it go. And I have grandchildren take showers for a whole hour. It's unbelievable how much water they use. But I went down to pay, and went to give the girl my bank card, and she goes, "Oh, you know, we got to take 3.5% more out of your bill." I says, "What's that?" She goes, $19. I said, "I'll be back." I went down to the bank to get cash.
Yeah.
On the way back in, I seen Eric Gitchia's wife and his
Yeah.
mother for the first time.
Yeah,
I
she's
didn't,
back, yeah.
I didn't know it was his mother. But I walked up the steps and I had an Eric Gitchia hat on, and she said to me, "Hey, who are you?" I said, "I'm Bob Hoey. How are you?" You know. She goes, "You got that hat on. That's my son." I said, "It is." I said, "Can you do, Ned, you're gonna love this." I said, "Can you do me a favor?" She goes, "What?" I says, "Can you see if you can get Lee to run against Eric citywide in the city of Lowell?" I did. I said that. I won't tell you what she said to me, I'll tell you that, but it was so funny, it's
She
unbelievable.
worked for me too.
Oh, huh?
She worked for me too.
Oh, did she?
She was the office manager.
But bringing
She
that
was
name
higher
up,
than that.
we have someone that worries about area 4. I think this District 4.
Yeah.
I think whoever, you know, he's not representing the district well enough, as far as I'm concerned. It's just my opinion.
I don't even know where he is.
But thank God we have someone like Eric Gitchett that's a citywide candidate, because he's helped me up at the Riley School, he's helped me around Stratham Park.
He never says no.
Hey, it's amazing. So to me, we need citywide people like that, even on the schools. I feel good about Lowell, though. We got to promote, though, have people come out and run. Listen, for the schools, you get 25 grand. I mean, 12 grand, I'm sorry. That's city council. It's about $209 a week. It's not a lot of money,
Spending money.
but it helps. It helps for a car payment, whatever,
Yeah.
it helps. You do a lot.
All the school committee has to do is just simply say,
They want to raise.
we
the
make
pay.
a motion to petition the city council that we have par pay with them. It'll pass 95 to nothing. It'll go over to the city council, they'll go like, oh yeah, let's cough it up for the,
You know, the
just
reason,
like getting Eric Gitchia paid.
the reason why I bring it up is
Oh, that's
not a
right.
lot
They
of,
can do that. They can do a wave and let him get paid.
listen, when it's-
Eric, and they wouldn't do it for the firemen
It's,
there.
but I was
Like,
talking about the schools, $209 a week. It's not a whole lot of money, but when you're on a school committee and you have 28 schools to visit during the year, you end up spending quite a bit of money on cake sales and everything else. You want to donate your money, and I think most people want to be on a school committee. They didn't really care about the money. The first time it was 3,000 when I got elected, then it raised to 6, then it went to 12. But we do as much work as far
you
as
do a lot of
meetings as the city
subcommittee
council
meetings,
does.
Subcommittee meetings.
But if you
Tentative.
do the city council job like Eric Gitchia does the city council job, it's not worth the money. I'm afraid of burnout. That's how good of a job he's doing. I'm
No,
afraid.
he always kept
Does he
going.
do something else, or is he just
Oh,
do this?
does
he's the
something else.
maintenance- He's charged of maintenance to both school.
He's never stopped. If he's not working, he's playing long ball toss with his
He's a
son,
great ball
Zach.
player, yeah.
And that's what the mother said to me, something about Zach. She goes, "Not Lee, I'll get Zach to run." It was just beautiful. But I see nothing but positive stuff, but we have to do that. We have to, after the holidays and everybody enjoys themselves, we have to try to promote to get people to come out and run. We need it in Lowell. We need it. We've needed it for a long time. And Danielle McFadden, thank you for lighting the torch and getting it started. That's a great thing that you're running citywide.
If anything on school, on council, anybody?
I haven't heard many names yet. I know Belvedere, my district, will definitely have some people. Yeah.
Well,
They'll have
because
some
those guys don't have any more power.
Yeah, and I'm glad what we talked about today so far, Jeff, especially with trade school. We've been saying that.
I've been saying that should be true.
We need more. Yeah, we need more.
That was Cliff Krieger's idea, too. There should be a north and a south.
And don't forget this, when they tell you this, Mr. Hoey, there's about 74 people on the list. There's 800 to 900, maybe 1,000 people at the high school that need it. They would never get accepted. They've had
Down
too
to
many.
74?
They've had too many issues on how many days off they've had, discipline issues, and they're not going to get in. You're not going to get in.
Yeah.
But what Lowell has done, they've started a thing called After Dark. That was when we had Robin Desmond here still. She's out there now in Leominster, I believe.
Yep.
She helped get that going out there with the trade school, and they have a program called After Dark. And
These
that
kids
means,
have to dedicate the...
yeah, at Lowell High,
themselves.
they go in at maybe, let's say, 10 in the morning, and by 1 o'clock, they're on a bus to go out there and stay till 6 o'clock, learning how to do welding or carpentry or HVAC. So that's a good step in the right direction. And we should start looking at all the other trade schools around us. I know it's kind of far, the Minuteman one, it might not be filled, because people from Lexington, their kids are going to go to BU, So we should look at all the other trade schools, see if the seats are filled. If not, it's worth it to
You
send
have
kids.
to pay to send them there.
But you don't want to send away 18 grand.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's up to 18 grand a student now.
I'm just saying that number.
That's Draken's biggest gripe. Draken's biggest gripe is they lose too many kids to the Voc, and it's $18,000 per student, and they need the money. I wonder what.
Yeah, but why should money get in the way of education?
Get your cell phone out, take a picture of this slide, please. If you have a friend that needs some help, it's the most wonderful time of the year, but it's also one of the most depressing times of the year for a lot of people. So keep in mind. So take your phone out, take a picture of this, so you have it, and hope you don't need it.
I fall in the third category there. I got eating disorders. Sweets, I can't get away from them.
Join him.
No, I'm not a sweet guy. I mean, I just can't I can't take the fork out of my mouth. That's the problem, I mean.
But you like desserts too. Not desserts, but chips, candy, cookies like me.
Well, Ned, you're doing okay in the eating market, aren't you?
Yep.
How many sets of teeth have you gone through so far?
None.
None? You're still on your first set?
Yeah.
Oh, you eat soft food.
No, I don't.
No.
No, I
Boy,
can
do we
do it.
miss you, buddy.
Well, just quickly about the schools, though. One of the things, you talk a lot about money if you paid city councilors more. And I understand that's all part of it, and teachers, but I don't think always throwing more dollars at something fixes something. That's how I feel. You have to have the right people in place, starting with the school teachers, and you do have to give them a livable wage, absolutely. But you got to change the culture for the kids so that school is a place at least they're happy to be at. Maybe wishing they were doing something else, but it should be a safe atmosphere for them. It should be a place that they enjoy going to, and and they can learn something. I really think it's an important part of protecting our society from for the need of more affordable, not affordable housing, but low income housing, and we need these people to be educated so that they can work, support themselves, support their families, and it starts in the school system. I really believe it. I just,
Jeff, I think you bring up a good point. And that's up to the school, the people that sit down with your educational plan and explain to them, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a mathematician. Say, what does a mathematician make a year? And explain to the child, okay, if you want to pursue that, It's a free country. Go right ahead. You're never going to own You're never going to own a new car. You're never going to own a house. You're not going to make enough money to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things they should really instill in kids. They should that that the government may not be there to help. It might be here to help.
Oh, the government
parents.
is not. The government is here to help themselves.
Right.
They're not here to help you.
So if you get kids at a very early age, not to scare them, but the economics of life, what it really costs to live. And while they're thinking that I'll just work at a gas station, the supermarket, or whatever,
Yeah,
I'll just get
Symphonics,
by.
whatever, yeah.
But when you start to share what the true cost of things are, and teach them how to balance a checkbook and do taxes, and just reality checks. It can't be all unicorns and rainbows at school. It's got to be, there's going to be real reality checks. They're leaving without life skills. They can't read. It's a problem. It's a problem, and so you got to change the culture, and maybe you got to look into other school systems around the country and see what they do, successful ones.
That's what I do.
I
go study a funeral
Yeah.
home that does a great business, and steal some of their ideas. They're all over the world.
Well,
There's some great ideas from my colleagues around the country.
and
the world.
We've done that in Lowell. We look at Chelmsford. We've done that in the past. We've had superintendents that lived in Chelmsford, come to Lowell, bring their ideas, the Chelmsford ideas to Lowell, and boom, fire them. Get rid of them.
Fire them, get rid of them. What do you mean? Who's getting fired?
A superintendent of schools.
In Lowell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Ned have to say?
We get about 3 years and they're gone. Superintendents.
Well, that's what we do with managers too.
Oh, I know it.
Ka-ching.
Well, I think
Had one fee and he's going to be gone.
and this will be a controversial.
On his own.
This will be a controversial statement, and it's not a dog on.
That's what we're here for.
But if you get on an airplane, I fly airplanes. So if you got on an airplane, don't you want the two people up front to be so skilled and can fly the airplane, understand the airplane, the best pilots up there carrying you and 150 of passengers? Same thing with your surgeon when you go in, or your wife's cancer treatment. Don't you want the best doctors and who did well? And I think it's the same way with school teachers, you just want the best ones, and it can't just be a paycheck. It's got to be, you got to be passionate for it. And the way I see about school teachers as well is where we live in a society where it's two-income families. So if it's a woman if it's a woman if the wife is a school teacher, the husband might be an engineer, or vice versa. The wife might be an engineer and attorney, and the husband's a school teacher. And it's not about, making, every person in the school district, wealthy. It's not that easy. Sometimes it has to be understood that, you're never going to get rich as a school teacher, but at the same time, you have to be passionate about it and love what you do. So.
The majority, I believe the majority.
Yeah, and I think so. I think that is as well,
Gentlemen from the audience, there's no accountability. Kids are allowed to be lazy and slackers.
I agree with that.
I'd have to agree.
I agree.
Well, who in Washington, D.C. is doing anything about cell phone addiction? It's a global issue. Every kid around the freaking world, I don't care if you're living in Washington, D.C., Tewksbury, Massachusetts, or Moscow, every kid around the world is looking at his or her cell phone all day. It's called dopamine. They get like a little rush on their head. That everything they see makes their head happy.
Hey,
Cell
I
phone
like
addiction. We're just ignoring that.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed TV as a kid, but they didn't let me bring a TV to school, so I don't really understand this infatuation with every kid has to be connected to their parents all day. Give the teachers some control to take, my parents, they entrusted the teachers, and when there was a discipline problem, they sent me down to the principal, and when the principal couldn't handle me, then they sent me to usually the gym coach, the gym teacher, and he could handle you,
Speaking of gym coach, you guys see George Bossy got special
60 years, yeah.
on Channel 4 yesterday. He was the guy of the week.
It was
really?
the whole
I
week.
didn't see it.
The whole weekend was about George Bossy, yeah, 60 years.
In the school system?
as a wrestling coach.
Oh, no kidding.
And he was an AD, he was different things in the school system, but his basic thing about George Balser is a wrestling coach, the best around to me.
Oh, he was, yep.
Well, good for him.
The only time I ever had him was offensive line,
I like the idea.
freshman year.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked another there was Mickey O'Keefe, the entrance to the auditorium. That was a nice dedication.
Another great dedication, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, I had a funeral that day. Sorry, I missed that. That would have been a good one to go to.
Good guy.
He
Did a lot for
Mickey's the
kids.
best.
There are a lot of people in Lowell that did a lot
That's
for
how,
kids.
yeah, that's what Lowell's all
You know,
about.
and people helped and worked. I can go back to Joe Downs, way back, cop, city councilor, mayor. But he started one of the first Little League teams up at Great Gage Field, you know, and he worked at that. He liked doing it. Of course, young Joe was a boxer, you know.
You might remember Mickey Finn.
Yep.
That's another big guy
Yeah,
when it
right
comes
from
to
Wachusett
baseball.
Street. Yeah, they were great on the park with the kids. I think they had 10 or 12 kids. I don't know how many, but they had a lot of kids. And across the street, there was another family with a lot of kids. But you don't see that anymore.
Don't see the ballparks filled anymore.
Oh, no,
I
you
mean,
ride by and see the
That's another
ballparks
thing
empty.
Lowell's working on. They're doing a pretty good job trying to bring it back. They have been. I have no complaints.
That's the stuff.
But again, when we were younger, every kid
Oh, yeah.
wanted to play in the Little League, or, you know, they were doing something. Every kid was doing something, whether you were into baseball or softball or football or hockey. Every kid.
Hey, we got
was
to go
in-
off the break, Lance.
was into
Sorry.
something.
We'll be back.
I'll
Thanks.
be back. They have been. I have no complaints.
That's the stuff.
But again, when we were younger, every kid wanted to play in the Little League, or, you know, they were doing something. Every kid was doing something, whether you were into baseball or softball.
Good morning and welcome to City Life. My name's Ned Tarmey. I'm your host today. Next is my nephew Jeff Tarmey, and next to that is Bob Hoey. Before we go any farther, I want to, if you're around Bridge Street today, go out. Bob, Tom Bumble's not here because he's out ringing the bell for the Salvation Army. Walked up and throw a $100 bill in his cup. He'll enjoy that. He'll be there. He's there today. And hello to Mark Crapman. How's he doing, Mark? I haven't heard anything.
Mark's doing fabulous.
That's great.
He's muchly on the mend. He's going in a good direction. Poor guy had quite the health hiccup, but saw him at the senior center a couple of weeks ago out of Tewksbury, and looks fabulous. He's doing.
Tom Bomil's at the Market Basket on Bridge Street,
Yeah,
right,
Bridge
Tom?
Street, right? That's what I
Okay.
said,
Yeah, I think they call it a Sunrise.
Sunrise Center.
Sunrise Plaza.
Yeah.
Bridge Street, Centerville, just on the Dracut line.
On the Dracut side, yep.
And go see Tommy Bomil. Put $10, $100, whatever you can do. I'd love to see you. Thanks.
But, another thing, if you want to donate, and you brought enough gifts, Bobby Cox could always use a few bucks. Salvation Army, Holy Name Society in your parish, they're help time, push it forward. But Merry Christmas to Tom and everybody else that we have on the show. But we've had a lively discussion the first hour on the school system. I have a feeling we're going to keep going.
I got some text left over from the
Oh,
first
there's some
hour. I'm going
text.
to read those. Those who would give up essential freedom To purchase a little temporary security deserve neither. That's from Ben Franklin.
Ben
Thank you,
Franklin.
Ben. And then the Grand Slam, Jeff,
Jeff.
the cell phone problem is not getting better. I understand someone's carrying their cell phone into the store. I can't understand someone carrying their cell phone into the store to get a gallon of milk.
You have to lock your car.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm sitting here today and my cell phone's locked in my car. Anything that's important, I'll get to it later on. I don't carry my cell phone with me. And,
Plus
stop
they
because-
charge theirs downstairs. And
Yeah, mine sits all night long charging, downstairs from my bedroom, and I don't need to be that connected to the world. It's busy enough during the day, but hey, neither there. It's Christmas season, so let's think about everything we're hopeful and happy for. And
So, Jeff, you're a pilot, and you got your own plane. What do you got for a plane?
I fly. I own what's called a Citabria. It's aerobatic spelt. Aerobatic is how it's spelled backwards. So Citabria. If you spell it backwards, it's aerobatic. So it's a small 2-seat aerobatic airplane that I've been flying for about 25 years. I don't do much aerobatics in it, but
Can you spell that to me? What's it called?
Citabria. Citabria.
All right.
It's a great little airplane. It's I can get over to Martha's Vineyard in it in about 45 minutes. I could be on Long Island in a little over an hour. Yep, that's it. Yep.
Great for sightseeing because you can look out the bottom of the
Yeah.
plane.
So, people say, why such a small airplane?
What color is yours?
Mine's yellow. Mine is yellow.
We got a yellow one in stock right here.
Yeah, it looks similar to that. Yep. So, yeah, it's a small airplane, and in years past, I had a small aviation business. It was towing banners. So, if you're ever at the beach and you see the signs being pulled behind the planes, or around Gillette or Fenway.
What's the value on towing a banner? I want to vote for Ned Tarmey. How much would that cost me to put out there? Just a guess.
Well, now it'll sound like like I'm super wealthy, but it cost about $450 to $500 per hour to fly a sign.
That includes them making the sign and all that stuff?
Yeah. So, and the way I put it, this is how, and I'm not pumping the business up or anything. I mean, I sold the business a couple of years ago, but if you use a number like $50,000, right? And it may sound like a lot of money, but $50,000, you can get 100 hours of advertising. But we also bring the advertisement right to you. So if you think about like the New England beaches, from any, on any given July or August day, from Revere Beach to say the Maine border, I can bring that sign up on a nice day, and easily 1 million eyes will see that advertisement. So when you think about the number of people on a beach.
Now, what height was your favorite to fly at to show one of those trails?
We fly them at about 1,000 feet.
Can you go lower?
Well, you can, but if you think about it, if you're too low, the lower you are, only the people closest to the sign can read it. The higher you are, a further distance. So if you're only flying at about 500 feet, which is legally too low anyway, then only the people within 100 yards of the.
So what's the lowest you can fly it legally?
Well, legally about 1,000 feet, because by law,
Wow, I didn't know
by
that.
FAA law, you can't
'Cause I know
operate an airplane.
Drones, you can't go above 400.
Well, the truth is that you're supposed to fly 1,000 feet above structure, human vessel kind of thing, right? So you're not allowed to fly, or unless for takeoff and landing purposes, you're not allowed to fly, say, over your home here at a couple of 100 feet. It's illegal.
Because, I'm lucky enough to have a place down Happy Hampton. That's how I see these
Yeah.
planes flying. And lately, the guy is further out to sea, so you really can't read the banner.
Oh, then that's good to know. Yeah, I don't know. I know who it is. I'll certainly bring that to his attention.
And he should be closer to shore.
Yeah.
And I know there's wind, he's afraid of this, and the plane seems almost not powerful enough to trail the banner.
Yeah, I'd be interested in who that is because the guy that's been out there for years, he's very skilled at it, and he's done it for a long time. It's the only thing he does for a living. It's his business. So I'd be curious if it was actually him or someone that works for him or something else. But that's good to know. I'll relay that message. But I typically didn't fly the letter banners. I flew the billboards, and the billboards are
Much easier to see.
3,000 square feet in size. They're 100 feet long typically by 30 to 35 feet high. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's quite the drag.
No, it actually, they tow pretty good. It's just sailcloth. So it's the same thing that's on a sailboat.
So now, you take off, and then you go around and you grab the banner. You don't take off with the banner, do you?
No. The
So
banner
what's
is laid
the
out on the
process?
ground, and then you throw out a hook. You could probably Google it, YouTube it, and aircraft banner tow pickup, and you'll be able to see it. But it's quite interesting, super fun, and even though I threw a number out like $450, $500 an hour, it's. I'm not operating 8-10 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's predicated on. It's really only flown during the good weather, when people are outdoors. So certainly right now, today would not be a good day unless it was an election day or something. But it was super fun, kept me out of a lot of trouble, and it was a nice supplemental income for me. So. But planes are very expensive to own as well. Like that particular airplane.
Every hobby is golf. I don't care what it is. It's expensive.
Well, that airplane alone, probably its operating cost is, $150, $175 an hour when you take in, maintenance, insurance.
That's reasonable. Yep.
Fuel alone is about $75 an hour when you're operating. So
Wow.
I go fly for 3 hours. I'm going to spend $225, $250 just in fuel alone.
It used to amaze me, Hanscom Air Force Base, they got a private airport on the other side.
Yeah.
And you used to see all kinds of dignitaries and sport figures, flying in their personal jets.
Oh, sure.
It was the transport vehicles that used to get me, ones that are bringing in like cargo.
Sure.
The pilots, a lot of them not even over 20 years old. 20, 21, like from South Africa and places like that. They're not that old.
Yeah.
Really, real young.
Yeah.
And it always shocked me to see them that young flying planes.
Yeah.
The kids have passions.
You can't find it, John?
No, I hear you.
I'm looking. It went to Google. I'm still.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to.
Go to YouTube
Bounce
and-
me over to.
Go to YouTube and then aerial banner pickup. AERI. Aerial banner pickup. It'll show you how it's done.
I got a buddy, retired fireman, Norman Nato, has a son that's also a fireman in Lowell, but one of his sons flies a C-131.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, C-130, yeah.
It's like a football field.
Yeah.
He's,
We
Yeah.
see the big ones that fly over to Europe and back every day, fly over the house. They fly 23 hours. That's how they,
Well, our bombers, yeah.
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 Oh, yeah, you want an experience, just go down to Plum Island. I took my two grandsons
There
down
it
there.
is.
There it
There
is,
it is
right
right
there,
there.
yeah.
There it is.
So you go back to the airport.
Yeah, you'll see him. He's got a hook dragging out the back there. Say that. Pick it up. Banner will come up. The rope's about 400 feet. That's how it's done.
and there's the banner.
That's the sign, yeah. So, yep.
So you take off. You make sure the plane's in good shape, and then you.
Yep. Then you throw. There's like a clothesline. You'll see it. See it. Like see the white flags there and the banner white on the ground there.
Yeah.
So the plane's coming in. There's a hook hanging out the back of the airplane. They snag the clothesline and then pull the airplane straight up, and then the banner will come straight up off the ground. You'll see it. That's a billboard. Yep. That's how it's done. And then you drop it before you.
Where do you drop it?
right back to where you picked it up.
Oh, you go right over by the airport, you let it go?
Yeah. Watch. Yeah, that's how it's done. There you go.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Never knew.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
But he had a passion for flying since he was a kid. And he's taught a lot of young kids how to fly up there. I'm on horse today, I don't know why. But
Yeah, I'll tell you who was a good friend of mine. I flew with him for years and years before he passed away about 5 years ago. Was Rex Trailer. I used to fly with Rex Trailer. Remember from Boomtown?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine. Yeah, he was.
I met Rex once.
Yeah.
Nice man.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He lived in Sudbury. No, Sudbury, Mass. Yeah, he was a great guy. He was a really fun guy to know, and when I was a kid, when I first met him at 14 or 15 years old, I mean, he may as well have been, JFK in my eyes, because, I love that you grew up with him, so, but turned out to be quite a regular guy, super nice, so he passed away a few years ago, and, just.
He was a good entertainer, a good man.
Yeah, very good, yeah. They filmed that whole show in the parking lot of WBZ in Boston. That whole show was filmed right in the parking lot, so.
Well, they told me Boomtown was along Route 3 down by Burlington. That's where you used to ride that's where they filmed that.
Well, that.
Riding to Boomtown,
Well, that might be true. I'm talking about where the studio and the fences and the whatever, where the children came to enjoy the show or be part of the show was done right in the WBZ parking lot, from what I remember him telling me. So, but so anyway, little showing my age a little bit, but that's when
he used to run the trips to Disney World, 8-10 planes. Would sign up for it.
Yeah.
And
So,
fill of planes. Yeah.
but all fun. But So if anybody's looking to fly, I mean, it's a great hobby. It's a great hobby. And if anybody's looking for a good career, if you're an 18-year-old, you don't know what to do with your life.
join the Air Force.
Join the Air Force, or join the military, learn how to fly. I'll tell you what, it's you won't regret it. And if you're good enough and you get into the airlines, you'll be set for life. The airlines pay incredibly well. So, yeah. So, there you go.
And if you want to get a job really easy to get in, become a prison guard. You
Yeah.
can make $200,000 a year in
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't get enough.
Hey,
It's like they can't get enough police officers. Nobody wants to be a cop anymore. It's too
Hey.
dangerous.
work for UPS. I mean, I mean, here we are doing a commercial for all these different things, but, work for UPS. I did that for 30 years, and I'm not going to lie to you, can make well over $100,000 a year driving a truck.
Great company.
And great benefits. Never wanted for anything. And it's only now that I'm retired to realize what benefits and things like that really cost, because I never had to pay for my benefits. So I was very, very lucky. Great retirement, great job. You work hard, but if you don't want to go to college and learn a trade, then companies like UPS, and they're always looking. They're always looking.
And I'm talking about looking for jobs and getting good insurance. If I didn't have good insurance with my problem,
I had
my bills up to going to go to $500,000 when it's done.
I had a couple of close friends.
I got a bunch of texts, Bobby. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
Several
years ago, a B-25 bomber was at Nashville Airport. It was unbelievable. Moving right along. This is from the mayor. Danny Rourke says, "Good morning. Good to see Ned back on the show. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year." That's from Mayor Danny Rourke.
Same to you, Dan.
Good guy. And the last text in this group is, what was the craziest thing someone wrote on a banner for you to fly around with, Jeff? What's the craziest thing they ever?
We've had some breakups.
Meaning what?
I want a divorce.
Yeah, I had a guy call me one time, and I did fly the banner. It was all in Italian. And, of course, I don't know Italian, so I had to find people that knew Italian, and I was so worried because it was going to fly over the Prudential Tower in Boston. And I was so concerned at the time, this was just a couple of Februarys ago, and I was just so concerned that it had some kind of hate message. But it turned out, I love you, whatever, and will you marry me? But no, people have asked, for some pretty nasty things, divorces. I remember when there were people that were Tom Brady haters, and they wanted me to fly hate banners over places where he was, and I refused to do it. I didn't do any hate anything, and anything I did political, and I would toe for any political party, but I would never make a political statement. I would do vote for Bernie Sanders, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't toe an anti-abortion banner or something. I just never, even though, 50% of the world might believe in what I'm towing, there's 50% of me that disagree, and when you're flying around at 1,000 feet, it only takes one bullet, to come up through my seat, right? So I avoided all that stuff, and it's true. I worried about it all the time, and, but, yeah, so to answer the question, I've had some crazy requests, like I said, about divorces and a lot of swear language, but I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, so that's the answer to that.
I was just going to say before you said that, was two of my real close friends were truck drivers for UPS, and they were always in tremendous shape. That's how hard these guys worked. I mean, they were probably working 16 hours a day. I always let the UPS driver go at an intersection. Go ahead. They're always in a rush.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
what do you think about, I hear the talk about privatizing the post office? That's out there. I'm hearing that.
That's right,
Yeah.
it was put there.
It's everything can be streamlined. It's, I don't know if we live in a world anymore where we need a post office in every town in America.
It only lost 9 to 10 billion last year.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so to me, they're going to be going.
But I think they shot themselves in the foot too. Any organization that just starts to subcontract out all their work, they're just looking for. I just find that to be a problem. You can't subcontract everything. And there's one thing to subcontract temporary work, because there's no need hiring full-time people to do temporary work. But if those subcontractors become, basically doing full-time work for an organization, I just think it's just a slippery slope. And I think they shot themselves in the foot. I think they really hurt themselves. And now certainly with the internet and emails and everything else and electronic messaging and electronics, the need, especially on the commercial side is weak, So, yeah. So I think, yeah.
We're going to face so much. I believe they're going to cut so much out of this budget right now, and they should. We talk about homeless the first hour. Think of all the money we send. The one thing I seen, we send like $1 billion to Pakistan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things that they do, but how do we send money to a country like that?
Sticking with the post office just a second,
Yeah.
okay? Those guys and gals know how to park their truck. Prime, Amazon, those guys and gals are absolutely pathetically terrible with how they drive their vehicles and where they park. UPS, they do a great job. FedEx, not so bad. FedEx is almost as bad as Prime.
Yeah.
Prime is absolutely terrible. But the U.S. Post Office, I get excellent service from those guys and gals. I don't see it going away, but that's okay. I'm listening to you. Go ahead, Jeff. We're going to read this text in a second.
And it's up to the group here. I'd love to break away from local politics for a moment and just Christmas for a moment. And I'd like to discuss like an Amazon. I don't know, this week people probably saw it on the news, and I have no irons in the fire with Amazon. I swear I don't even shop Amazon. So, but this is my struggle with Amazon. Bezos is essentially the richest man in the world at this point. And he's operating $1 trillion company. And basically the vast majority of Amazon employees are subcontractors.
Yep.
And those subcontractors don't get benefits. And this is a guy who's one of the largest corporations in the world, one of the richest men in the world. The profits are obscene, and they get all kinds of tax breaks. Yet, my feeling is that he needs to be reined in. It's his responsibility to pay his people fairly, a fair wage, and benefits, and protections, because I find it offensive that a middle-class guy like myself, or any person in this room, that we subsidize his employees. What do you mean?
McDonald's has been doing it for years.
No. Well, I just want to stick to this for a moment. When you don't pay your employee, if you're the richest man in the world, largest corporation in the world, and you're not paying your employees fairly and giving them proper benefits, so those people work for you, and then in return, those are the people that need housing assistance from us, fuel assistance, maybe, food stamps, and I just find it to be an absolute insult to American people, and he's getting away with it, and I just don't think it's right. And and he has an unfair advantage because companies like FedEx, UPS, and the post office, they have their full-time employees, they pay them benefits, they pay them retirement, so that's where I struggle. And so I think a lot of people in this country should be angry with a company like Amazon for those reasons.
Is it true also they don't have any warehouses? They just, when somebody orders something, they just buy it from somewhere else and they don't move, right?
I don't really understand the whole structure. I know a little bit about it, but at the same time, that's my speech. And people could argue that companies like McDonald's and gas stations and have done that for years. Well, those jobs weren't designed. Those jobs are designed for kids to learn how to work. Those are where 16, 17, 18-year-olds go in and they learn how to work. And they can work for minimum wage. They're not raising a family. The jobs at Amazon are not those jobs. They require adults with driver's licenses who have families, and I think they're beating the system. And I truly believe it. And if someone wants to argue with me and tell me that I'm absolutely wrong, then do so. But I firmly believe they're taking advantage of hundreds of thousands of Americans right now in the way they treat their employees, don't pay them fairly, don't give them benefits. And we feel the pain as taxpayers.
It's a big issue to me in the past year. I've talked a lot about unions, especially in the last election. I still think unions right now are a big issue. I thought it was, in the past election, I thought we'd hear it a little bit more, but I think we're going to hear it now. You got about, 10,000 Teamsters, I think, are fighting.
Okay.
You got about 10,000 Teamsters that are out there fighting right now with Amazon.
And
And I'm-
Starbucks, too.
Well, and I'm pretty sure Amazon has close to over 1 million people, that's for sure, that work for it.
Yeah.
And, but I always said it, I think unions right now it's gonna all come to the forefront, because if you just, common sense tells me that we're gonna start, unions, number one, I was a union member my whole life. Do I believe in unions? Yes, I do. But I believe unions should also clean up their own act.
Yeah,
That's all, sometimes you gotta do something within. Because I know when I talk about just my occupation as a prison guard, to me, 40% of the people shouldn't have never had a job. And I might have been one of them. So I'm just telling you, the same thing with, to me, police departments. It's not the same thing when it comes to teachers. I think that percentage is much smaller. But when you talk about people that deliver packages, like you were talking about UPS, there's a company, look at that company, and what a person can make working for them. or you can go to school. I have a friend that worked there, and she came out like number 2 at Lowell as an accountant. Whole bill was paid by UPS.
Yep.
From
And,
the audience,
yeah,
we got these remarks. Most of the stuff I bought on Amazon either broke or had to be returned. I stopped dealing with China's marketplace for a few years ago. Moving right along, guy wants to change the topic. How about the drone situation happening? You guys got any thoughts on this?
Do you think that's drones in the United States? What's going on up there with the flashing lights and the?
I'd rather talk about how many atom bombs China got.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the drones, I think they're going to be very useful, and I think we'll control the drones in this country. We're not that far behind. We'll be
They're not
okay.
far behind at all.
No, I think we'll be okay, technology-wise.
They're all taking, they do all the work from Colorado, when to push the button and everything else. Thing will be over in Libya, and then know when to push the button, you know.
Well, the drone thing.
It's a drone carrying a bomb.
Well, yeah, I worry that, these drones, some of them are the size of school buses, so they're not kids picking them
Yeah.
up at Walmart and flying them. So, and anytime, I'm not a conspiracist, but anytime the government says, we don't know what's going on,
They certainly do.
I'm suspect. But, we do have things to worry about in this country. And it's not a scare tactic, but there's a lot of things going on in the world. We have an immigration problem. No need getting into that, but I think we're losing a little bit of control of our borders, and we should pay attention because we'd hate to face another 9/11 situation. So that's again another pulpit speech, but.
No, I think, when does the president go in? January 20th?
20th, yeah.
Yeah, that's another issue. I think they wait too long to put someone in
Used to be March.
because of the damage. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well,
The damage is being done still. right
yeah,
now.
we don't like, I mean, you were a prison guard. I mean, I heard a number yesterday, and everybody can argue with me, but, I've heard 14,000 commutes of sentences, and I think there was 80-something people yesterday taken off of death row in federal prisons.
Yep.
And, I'm sorry. I mean,
But they took care of the sanctuary cities like in states like Massachusetts because the Boston bomber they kept him there.
yeah.
Yeah. Just to show
But
they're taking care
but
of
we have
these
to, you
sanctuary
got to take care of
states.
you got to really,
Yeah, let it go
really,
towards the last day.
really, we started this 2 hours with, the homelessness problem and everything else. And, I love this country. I think we should take care of our own first, and if that means our homeless and our school teachers and our housing situation, the drug problem, we got a lot of problems. And it seems like we do a lot of focusing on other parts of the world that we just don't have control over. And all these countries were sending billions of dollars for, we can argue the ethics of it, but when you're sending billions of dollars to other countries and not taking care of, using those same billions of dollars to take care of the people you have here, I think that's a shame, because I just don't believe that other countries would do the same for us. I don't believe countries like, they always talk about Sweden and Finland, and I just don't believe Sweden, Finland, all these countries would turn their back on their people and send the United States $1 billion.
And don't you feel right now, though, all we have to do is have a little bit of patience?
Yeah.
Because how bad you said, you're right on everything you said, but you don't fix anything in a real quick time.
No, nothing gets
Like-
fixed in a real quick time, but I do think
You
there
can
are fixes.
start the
I think
process.
I think there are fixes. There are fixes to many, many things, and sometimes I think in politics they don't want things to be fixed, because I don't mean in local government all the time. I mean in the
Federal
big
government.
picture, because on the federal side, if they fixed homelessness and they fixed, the welfare system and they fixed immigration, then one side or the other wouldn't have something to run on, and, I hear the same rhetoric every single day. And, if John had a problem here at the funeral home, I would suspect he could fix it pretty quickly, and I think
That
the government, Huh?
That day.
And that's why I
Yeah.
feel so positive about things, especially locally, but if we want to talk the whole country, look at what's happening in Chicago. They're ready to run their mayor out of there.
The last two mayors have been run out.
You know?
But that's my point. It's happening across the country.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe
It
not
is.
in our state. This state here, Massachusetts, will never change. It's
Yeah.
going to be like this for the rest of our lives. It's going to be just like this.
Yeah.
And
But, you know,
We do okay.
they don't talk about, they'll always talk about revenue slow down, you know, that revenues are below estimates and things like that. It's because people are escaping. You know, people are finding ways to hide money, you know, because it's very expensive to live here. It's, you know, it's,
Massachusetts is ignoring the migration of its population to New Hampshire. Massachusetts is just ignoring that.
yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're not moving to New Hampshire. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Take a ride over the line, baby.
Well, my daughter sells real estate. She's only been selling real estate in New Hampshire for about 5 years. She just closed on her 200th house. And that's, you know, so
That's
she's
20, yeah.
doing an amazing job. But for every one home that she has available for people to buy, she has 10 buyers. And that's not an exaggeration. So there are 9 people going without a home. And then when, especially in southern New Hampshire, when it comes down to an open house on a Saturday, they'll get 40 or 50 offers, and most are offering more money than the house is listed for, and then only one of those 40 or 50 are going to actually get that house. So that's the fight out there now. So
One of my colleagues, she bought a house with her husband, $500,000 up in Salem.
up where?
Salem.
Yeah,
It's now worth $750. She
Yeah.
bought it 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah. My house has doubled in value in 8 years. Good, sure. Could I replace it? No. You know, for my whole life, I've bought about 4 or 5 homes, and I'm not a wealthy guy, but when I ever decided, I sat down and said, okay, we're gonna go buy a bigger home, we just made the decision, went and found a home, went to the bank, and closed on the home. Today, I don't think I'll ever be able to buy another home, because it wouldn't make any sense to me to pay $600,000, $700,000, or $800,000 to replace what I have. So, and I'm not bragging, but it's good conscience. I couldn't do it. You know.
Well,
Yeah,
real estate is going to keep rocketing up no matter what happens. You can't get more, they don't build more land. Comments from the audience. The people are sick of being lied to. The government create problems to solve the problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting remark. I couldn't imagine that our government isn't lying or has lied to us. The media will hold them accountable, dripping with sarcasm. The media is afraid of the government.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
The media is just holding on to, I'll bet you Channel 4, 5, 7, 11, they're having trouble paying their help.
I just heard MSNBC is looking for 50% pay cuts from all their anchors. You know, they I guess their viewership is down 55% since the election. I just read that yesterday. I don't know if it's
agree.
true.
They are shaking everything up, I know that.
But, you know, back, you know, to the election, and again, not to offend anybody, it's not important, you know, who you voted for, who you didn't vote for, but the media is so funny. You know, you go on the news, and I know specifically what my problems are, what my family's problems are, what the problems here in Lowell are, and then they talk to you, and they bring up 4, 5, 6 things, and they're trying to convince you that those are the country's problems, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, you're not talking anything that's important to me, you know, like, and it makes me laugh.
Well, the thing I get a kick out of is they demand honesty out of the politicians, and then they put on some crack dealer selling cars, telling you what a wonderful, you want to save money, come down and buy a car. You want to save money, keep your car.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if I hear one more tout that, you know, there's a lot of medication in our house between my cancer, my girlfriend has a lot of issues, Ned here is got
Well,
many
so you get a
issues,
lot of meds in your house.
you know, and
get rid of the
our
personality.
medication list is quite high.
Yep.
And My dad specifically is on a medication. My father has amyloidosis. It is $24,000 a month. That's the cost of the medication to keep him alive. And so for politicians to go on TV and just tout that we got,
$35.
$35 insulin, from Medicare or something. It's just, yeah, that's great. But there's a lot of other very important medications out there that the price of those have to come down as well. And it's just,
Well, I don't understand why insulin is a prescription drug. Why can't you just buy that at the Willis's?
yeah, I agree. I also wonder why you spend billions of dollars and we send it to drug manufacturers to develop drugs, and then they have the audacity to gouge us at the end of it. We paid for the development.
One of the things that bothers me is you can't tell by a label where a product's been made.
No.
That's right. But the truth of the matter is, I think about 80% of all our medications now are made in China. That's
Mine are made in Israel and I think Vietnam.
yeah. And I think that's a dangerous situation, because when another country has control of your health, it's really stuff we have to look into. I don't mind where a car is built, but I have real problems with
Chemicals you put in your body.
with things that go in our body. That's right.
Well, how about you look at 1955, pictures of people at the beach.
There's no obesity.
And now, and I'm told it's because the farmers give chickens food that make them fat, we consume that chicken, and it makes us
It's
fat.
processed food. So from the way I understand it, we have 360 million people to feed in this country, and so, we need to grow things fast. In order, we eat 3 meals a day, and plus we gorge ourselves at restaurants. And so this country has to produce a lot of food. And, so like a cow, like a beef animal, they.
If you look out the window, there's a white Christmas coming down. It's pretty.
Right now?
Looking across the city, yeah.
Yep.
It's snowing.
But the way they feed them today, they grow within a year, and then they can slaughter them for food. And in broiler chickens that you get at Market Basket, they live 21 days. From the time they're born, 21 days they're slaughtered. When we were younger, most things were grass-fed and they grew naturally. And now we're chemically changing them, and and it's a problem. It's a problem. And they don't address it, but they have to feed a lot of people. But I read a report not long ago that childhood diabetes is I don't know, 50% of most kids today under the age of 15 have onset diabetes. But 50 years ago, a doctor would lucky to see one case in their entire career of childhood diabetes. So, it's something to think about. And then you have the, you talk about the beach photos. The famous photo is the one of Woodstock. And everybody has their shirts off, and the girls are in bikini tops and everything like that. There's not an ounce of fat on anybody. And there's tens of thousands of people there.
That's true.
You take that same picture at the beach today, and,
But back in '69, most of them were running around with Crossroads or Black Beauties.
Well, it might be part of it. It might be part of it.
It's definitely part of it. They were all on speed, so they didn't want to
Look at this
eat.
one here.
Comment from the audience. Also, don't forget the fact that there are fast food
Oh, yeah.
places on every
That's
corner.
true. Yeah.
Everybody's eating junk food for lunch.
Yeah.
And you're all
you said
excited
that.
because it's a $5 meal at the market.
And it's tasty.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That Whopper is delicious.
Yeah, I often wonder why they, you come off the highway anywhere in the country and they got a McDonald's or a Burger King, and you pull right in there. And I've always said, the best hamburger in the world could be another quarter of a mile down the street, but people know what they're going to get at McDonald's, and they're not going to go look for that best burger in the world. They're going to stop right in there at McDonald's, and good for them. But I'm not going to lie, a quarter pounder with cheese is delicious, But I think they put heroin in French fries because
You
There
mentioned
may be some truth to that, Jim.
Yeah.
you mentioned China, and they're a big part of our big problems, no
Sure.
doubt about it. I mean, you just go back about 4 or 5 years ago, fentanyl was being charged about $20 a pill.
Yeah,
Now they can get it for $1.
yeah.
They're
Well,
just pumping it into this country, and this country's falling for that, just that one drug alone.
Yeah, well, full disclosure, in 2016, I lost a son to a fentanyl overdose. So, 32 years old. So, I realized the problem firsthand. So,
And right now, how can we not be happy what I see, what's coming
with what?
with our new president? What, if he pulls off what he says he's gonna do?
Yeah, let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just see. I mean,
They're
I think-
fighting him before he even gets there, they're trying to
Yeah.
fight against him.
Yeah.
Why do they hate this Elon Musk so much?
Well, it's Elon Musk, but
He
the
doesn't buy ads.
You
That's
know,
what pisses him off. That's why Tesla's all burned down. He won't buy TV ads to
Yeah,
advertise his cars, and
Yeah.
media's red hot mad at him.
Well, it's funny how I mean, the guy's a genius. I mean, forget about how much money he makes. The guy's a genius. I mean, in some sense, he's the Einstein of our generation, and he's everything that the left wants. The Green New Deal, electric vehicles, solar. I mean, he is the leader in the development of that stuff. But my goodness gracious, one day he announces he's a Republican, and his corporation is being torn apart. The guy is a genius.
Bobby's gonna love this one.
Market Basket has the best cheesesteak
And
around.
they do one for the price, they do.
Well, I think that chicken that we were just talking about, their little chickens there.
Flyers.
For
Oh,
$5.
I get the
dollars.
cheesesteak bomb out of this world.
Yeah, they make every sandwich. with
I
those
still,
expensive-
that's probably Arthur DeMoulis who just sent that in, but the
No, it wasn't.
No.
but it was no. The best thing at Market Basket is definitely that roasted pre-cooked chicken.
Yeah,
I don't care. That
Yeah.
is
For the money, it's under $5.
$5,
on,
$5.99,
$4.99.
whatever it is. It is delicious. I don't know. Again, they may sprinkle heroin on it for all I know, but it is delicious, and you can eat the whole darn thing. And I hate white meat, but I love that chicken.
There was nothing
I love
like
that.
the two. Recently, I opened a few Christmas cards, and I had 2 gift certificates to Market Basket. One for 100 and one for 50, and guess what? And one for 25,
Best
actually.
gift you got.
I went up the other day, I already spent all of that.
You bet.
And
You
put
bet.
everything in the
goes every
freezer.
day at
Yeah.
I go about 4 times a week, and
Yeah.
I look for manager specials.
Yeah.
Yep,
Especially like steak and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
like
freezer
that.
as you walk in the door.
Yeah, so we're really lucky to have a Market
Yeah, we're
Basket.
very, very lucky. And again, here we are, we're promoting UPS and
Hey, that's
Market
what
Basket and
we do
everything,
here.
right? Free advertisement.
Patty DeMose has been good.
But, Market Basket does it right. And I'm sorry, one of the things and I can appreciate this, I just love the fact you go in there and there's plenty of employees. Every register is open.
And good employees.
And good employees. Every register is open. Every register has a bagger. There's people in control, and it works. And it works. It really works. It makes it a pleasure. Even if you have to, get in your 4th or 5th in line, you're going to be out of there pretty quickly.
How
It
about how
works.
much
I gotta
his,
tell a story
how about how much his help loves him? That's
Absolutely.
incredible right there, to me.
Absolutely. My granddaughter worked for him. She was 16 years old up in Hooksett, and he was coming into the store just that day. So, of course, the store's prepared, and they said, this is a good story, and they said to my granddaughter, she was about a 1-year employee, nice, well-spoken kid, and they said, when he comes in, we'd like to introduce you to him. It was all prearranged. So he comes in, and my granddaughter goes up to him and says hello. They have a small conversation, and the conversation went something like this, that, it wasn't about, how long you been here? Do you enjoy the job? Is there anything we can change to make the place better? And he was open to, very nicely, very open to suggestions, but my granddaughter didn't elaborate on anything. And then he said, so, you're a young girl, you're in school, where do you go to school? And what would you like to do when you when you
Graduate.
graduate from high school. And she says, well, I'm thinking getting into the medical field. It's just, as a matter of fact, I've just been selected to go to New York City to be involved in a student 1 week go to one of the big hospitals in New York City for young people aspiring to be doctors, and the name escapes me right now, but
St. John's.
But anyway, she went to St. John's, I guess.
Yeah.
And she says, so I'm doing that. She says, I'm saving up to do that. Arthur pulls out $1,000 cash and hands it to her, and he says, hey, put this towards it. Don't tell anybody. So I thought that was really, really nice, really nice. you
Arthur
know?
is the most generous man
Yeah.
I
yeah.
know of anywhere on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
We all live better
Yeah.
because that man is generous. Keeps his prices low. The board of directors at Walmart in Texas are really ticked off at him because they know their prices have to be competing with
Yeah,
his
yeah.
in this region of the United States.
But don't ever escape any business. Treat people right. Give them a good deal for their money.
I gotta say,
And don't and you'll be successful. It doesn't matter whether you sell cars, sell funeral plots, just treat people nice, and they'll spend their money there. And it's a model that works, and it's worked for a long time. And if you had a Stop and Shop, a Market Basket, and a Hannaford side by side, Market Basket's parking lot is always full.
I was in Market Basket yesterday up in Londonderry. It was packed. You know what he does? Every few aisles, he has somebody stand there. Can I help you? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
And there were people stationed there all day long to help the people. It also helps the flow of traffic going through the place. But you never see that in the other supermarket, have people at the end of the aisles trying to help you out, you know?
Yeah.
I
It's
love
great.
it. Stadium Plaza is my favorite one, and I go there and there's one, I won't say the person's name, but a young kid. He's at BU,
Yeah.
goes to school there, and then comes in there and works, and it's incredible the staff that I've seen this guy hire
Yeah,
in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The warehouse now, that's another story. Working in that warehouse, you're gonna earn your dough. You're
you're-
gonna earn your dough in the warehouse.
Yeah, well, if it's not on the shelves, they can't sell it, right? So the warehouse is a lot of pressure on the warehouse.
They all wear uniforms
Yeah.
and name tags, the same thing. That's what I love about Liam Skinner, superintendent of schools.
Yeah.
That's what he did at the daily school. The children always was dressed
Yeah.
properly, and they respectful. Yes, sir, no, sir, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
A good business, and you said it, you give the people the best job that you can give them, they're gonna call back. You won't have to advertise.
And the
That's right.
strike, how many
That's right.
people stayed away from the other stores and went in and shopped the Market Basket just to show support, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, anyway, to send us advertising money, we could use it, so,
Yeah.
Market Basket, so.
Just keep manager specials going for me.
Yeah.
That's
right
all
there,
I care
right in
about.
that, in the freezer right as you walk in,
Yeah,
always, yeah. But Market Basket's a great store. Well, how many kids have gone through there?
Oh.
And behind the scenes, I don't know how many people, Mike DeMose and Arnie DeMose, have helped the kids through college. I could name 10 people right now, you know?
Well, anyway,
They don't look for the money, they don't look for the praise, they just do it.
well, anybody out there, any adults out there who have children who are, 17, 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds can't find their way, and they're desperate and don't know what they're going to do with their lives. I mean, Market Basket's not a bad place to start. UPS is not a bad place to start.
I think what you said earlier, Jeff, about Amazon, I really feel that that's what they need to learn. Learn off Market Basket on how to treat your staff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all they have to learn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't buy into Amazon's model at all. I just
He's
don't.
never brought him delivered to the
Never.
house.
I don't even have an Amazon account. If Amazon comes in my driveway, it means my girlfriend's sleeping with the driver because it's not, it's not because I ordered anything. So, and that's the truth. And I don't like the model. I don't like the ethics of the company. I do not believe in this gig economy that young people seem to be so excited about. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 40-hour work week and go to work every single day and work hard and get a paycheck and get benefits and support your family. That's how I feel, and we need a lot more companies out there like UPS and Market Basket and Raytheon and far less Amazons and.
You know what I'm
We ought
afraid
to
of?
pass a law that every company has to have a pension. Every company, I don't care if you're working at Frank and Ernie's or you're working at Market Basket, I don't care where you're working, that company has to have a pension.
Not even just a pension. If it's not a pension, it's got to be, like almost, again, the government's going to have to come up like Social Security, just come up with another form of garnishing your paycheck every week, a few percent every week.
We're all gonna get old. And-
No, we're all going to get old, and you have, but I'm talking about forced savings. If it's not Social Security, then it's got to be something else where everybody, a couple of percent of their paycheck every single week goes into forced savings. It's either forced savings into some kind of 401k plan or some kind of pension plan. But, to think that realistically, people who are 30 or 40 years old today in 20 years are going to be living on just Social Security, they're out of their brain. They're just, get that out of your head. The system is broken, and when it was designed, the average life expectancy was mid to late 60s, and now people are living longer than they worked. My grandmother just passed away a couple of years ago at 99 years old. She retired at 60.
I got a couple of messages here. Great show today. Have a Merry Christmas to everybody who's here. Me, Bobby, Ned, Jeff. Great job, Jeff, all you do for Ned. Great show today. Merry Christmas to the panel. Ned, great to see you on the show. Back to you guys. Thanks.
Let's talk about, we only got about 5 minutes. Wish everybody a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy it. And make it with your family, I don't know who's, the homeless, I think they get fed at, there'll be places for a turkey dinner, but I forget who's doing it. I haven't heard, but.
Ned, I'm only 70, right? And this is the first time I can actually say I feel like I'm blessed and I'm going to have a beautiful Christmas.
Well, you have great family.
I'm saying a lot of people have had some struggles in life, let's face it. It's just, I always look back in my life and I lost my mother at 10. My mother didn't die, divorce. I went with my father. You know the issue. I've told you 100 times. There's nothing worse to lose your couple of sisters that go into foster care. My mother was only 16, God bless her, when she had me. But that's how the old days were, right? A lot of young people were getting pregnant and having children. It's just, to me, having my wife saved by a hospital this year, there's no doubt I believe more than ever. And tonight, midnight mass at St. Pat's.
Tomorrow night.
No, tonight's Christmas Eve.
Tonight, right?
Today's Christmas Eve,
It's
tomorrow.
tonight.
Yeah.
And it starts at 10:30 for confession to 11:30, then there's a choir, and I'm gonna take because I seen it on the show yesterday, and the way the priest was talking about it, I'm going there tonight. I'm just gonna go spend a
Tom,
nice,
any sin there is, I've done, so
well,
bless me.
I'll try to make confession. If I can make confession, I'll do that too. But I'm definitely gonna go to midnight mass. Yeah. St. Pat's.
That's part of the problem in the city is that nobody goes to church anymore, so churches don't have any money. They used to support what neighborhood you're in, St. Louis, St. John d'Arc, Father Morissette, and you go to, they'd bring people in. I know families were brought down from Canada by these priests,
Yeah,
They
catechism,
can't afford to do
Sunday
it.
school, that was all
I
good
know.
stuff, yeah.
But it's a struggle.
Everywhere I went, I got hit. The nuns used to hit me too, because of the stuff I said to them.
Yep.
But then they'd give you a piece of candy afterwards, That's right. Yeah, Sister Mary Kevin, Sister Suzanne. Oh my God, Sacred Heart. The nuns were tremendous to me. Big help.
Nuns were good in all schools,
Yeah.
but
How many people George Bossy, right? Look at this weekend. It's a really George Bossy weekend. They have the Bossy tournament, the wrestling tournament. They come from all over.
Christmas, yeah.
I didn't catch one part of it other than what I seen on Facebook. It's an amazing weekend in Lowell. He only did 60 years as a wrestling coach.
Deadbeat.
60.
Deadbeat. 60
Yeah.
years, that it?
Yeah.
you know.
And one of his students, Tom Cassidy's coming up on his 30th year at Lowell, at the Greater Lowell Technical High School.
Hey, no live show tomorrow, Christmas Day. No live show on Thursday because laziness is kicking in, so we want to sleep in that day. Friday, we're going to be back up live, and Cliff Krieger will be the host. Eileen Del Rossi, we expect she'll be here. And John Curtis is coming in too. That's Friday's show. Time is short, boys. You got like 2 minutes tops.
I wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Everybody, if you have a neighbor that, you know, here in the city and you can look to the left side of you or the right side of you, know they're alone, and maybe invite them to add a plate to your table, or this time of year, the lucky ones, we get extra cakes and candies and things. You know, if it's just gonna be thrown away in your house, you know, don't be shy, bring it over to a neighbor that might have less than you, so, that's just a nice thing to do. And,
Also, if you find yourself with goof-off time tomorrow, fan through your phone and call somebody you haven't talked to in a couple of years.
I know.
Right
I
in your
agree
phone.
with that.
Yeah, try to stay off the pie.
Yeah,
What's your favorite pie?
Oh, I have to say probably,
What?
it's tough. I'm a pumpkin and pecan type of
Oh,
guy.
I love pecan.
I'm a pecan pie, I could, yeah.
It's
you know.
really good for you too.
No, it's very good for you.
Here's some good advice to everybody, if it's going to come up on stream. Don't forget to play Mega Millions tonight.
Is that the one that's the big one? Oh, yeah, it's worth almost $1 billion.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
want to
guys-
change, I wouldn't want to change my lifestyle. It would be an inconvenience, you know?
I wouldn't mind changing my lifestyle.
You're already there.
I got no complaints.
When's the next cruise? You're doing a cruise again?
Oh, yeah, we'll do another one, but that's up to Nana. She plans the cruises.
Well, I want to have a shout out real quick to the mayor and the city council. Thanks for what you're doing in this neighborhood, especially for the homeless and cleaning up the
Yeah, I
trash.
think
that we
people
have.
like Eric.
Yeah, I can just point at a few of them, but
Danny.
Eric was a
Thanks for
big
Ken's
watching.
part.
doing.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yep.
It's snowing out, huh?